Imagine a world where Plants vs. Zombies was released in 1992. The gaming landscape was vastly different, dominated by pixel art, limited soundtracks, and simple mechanics. This video explores how the iconic game would have looked, felt, and played if it had debuted in the early 90s. We'll dive into the retro aesthetics, gameplay innovations, and cultural impact, all while reimagining the beloved battle between Flora and the undead. Let's embark on a nostalgic journey, blending classic gaming vibes with the unique charm of Plants vs. Zombies. 1992, video games were mostly played on consoles like the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Graphics were limited to pixel art, and gameplay was often straightforward but addictive. The gaming community was just beginning to expand, with arcades still popular and home gaming gaining traction. If Plants vs. Zombies had been released then, it would have fit right in with the era's colorful visuals and catchy chiptune music. The game's core mechanics would have been adapted to suit the technology of the time, making it a standout among its peers. Plants vs. Zombies in 1992 would have featured vibrant pixel art, with each plant and zombie rendered in blocky, colorful sprites. The backgrounds would be simple, perhaps a scrolling lawn or garden with limited animation but plenty of charm. The visual limitations of the era would force creative solutions, making each character instantly recognizable despite the low resolution. The retro aesthetic would give the game a unique feel, blending the whimsical designs of Plants vs. Zombies with the nostalgic look of early 90s games. Soundtrack for a 1992 version of Plants vs. Zombies would be composed of catchy chiptune melodies, using the limited sound capabilities of the era's consoles. Sound effects would be simple but effective, with beeps and boops marking plant attacks and zombie groans. Music would set a playful yet urgent tone, enhancing the gameplay experience. Despite technological constraints, the audio would be memorable, adding to the game's charm and making each level feel lively and engaging. Adapting Plants vs. Zombies to 1992 would mean simplifying its mechanics. The core gameplay, defending your garden from waves of zombies, would remain, but controls would be streamlined for gamepads or keyboards. Resource management would be basic, with sun points collected through simple button presses. The challenge would come from increasingly difficult waves and limited plant choices, encouraging strategic placement and quick reflexes. The game would be easy to pick up but hard to master, fitting the era's philosophy of accessible yet challenging gameplay. Plant characters would be designed with pixel art, each having distinct shapes and colors to stand out on screen. Pea shooters, sunflowers, and walnuts would be the main stars, with their abilities adapted for the limited hardware. Animations would be minimal, but their personalities would shine through clever sprite design. The plants' roles would be clear, making it easy for players to understand their strengths and weaknesses. This approach would ensure the game remains engaging and visually appealing, even with technological constraints. Zombies would be depicted as quirky pixelated enemies, each with unique traits. The classic zombie, Conehead, and Buckethead would be easily recognizable, with simple animations showing their slow march toward the house. Their designs would be playful rather than scary, fitting the lighthearted tone of the game. The variety of zombies would keep gameplay fresh, requiring players to adapt their strategies as new types appear. The retro style would make these foes memorable, blending humor and challenge. Levels would be structured as simple grids, with each row representing a lane for plants and zombies. The backgrounds would change to reflect different environments such as front yard, backyard, or rooftop, but always with a retro touch. Progression would be linear, with each stage introducing new plants and zombies. The difficulty would ramp up gradually, encouraging players to experiment with different strategies. The level design would be straightforward but effective, making each stage feel distinct and rewarding. User interface would be minimalistic, with large colorful buttons and clear icons for plant selection and sun collection. Menus would be simple, using pixel fonts and basic navigation. The UI would be designed for ease of use, ensuring players can quickly access important information. The retro style would add charm, making the interface feel nostalgic yet functional. This approach would help players focus on gameplay without distractions, enhancing the overall experience. Controls would be adapted for the technology of 1992, using gamepads or keyboards. Players would move a cursor to select plants and place them on the grid. Sun collection would be automatic or triggered by a button press. The control scheme would be intuitive, allowing players of all ages to enjoy the game. The simplicity of the controls would make Plants vs. Zombies accessible, fitting the era's focus on pick-up-and-play experiences. Difficulty curve would be carefully balanced, starting with easy levels and gradually introducing tougher zombies and more complex plant choices. Each stage would present new challenges, encouraging players to refine their strategies. The game would reward experimentation, making it fun to try different plant combinations. The increasing difficulty would keep players engaged, providing a sense of accomplishment as they progress. This approach would make Plants vs. Zombies a classic, replayable experience. Play value would be high, with players returning to master each level and try new strategies. Unlockable plants and zombies would add depth, encouraging repeated playthroughs. The game's simple mechanics and charming visuals would make it easy to revisit, offering endless fun. Leaderboards or high-score tracking could be included, adding a competitive element. The retro style would make each session feel nostalgic, ensuring Plants vs. Zombies remains a favorite. A multiplayer was limited in 1992. Plants vs. Zombies could have featured local two-player modes. Players might compete to defend their gardens or race to defeat zombies. Split-screen or alternating turns would be possible, adding a social element to the game. The competitive and cooperative modes would enhance replay value, making the game a hit at gatherings. The retro multiplayer experience would be simple but engaging, fitting the era's gaming culture. Marketing for Plants vs. Zombies in 1992 would rely on magazine ads, TV commercials, and word of mouth. Colorful artwork and catchy slogans would attract attention, while demo cartridges in stores would let players try before buying. The game's unique concept would stand out, making it a must-have for fans of strategy and action. The retro marketing approach would build excitement, ensuring Plants vs. Zombies becomes a household name. Released in 1992, Plants vs. Zombies would have influenced the gaming culture of the time. Its blend of humor, strategy, and accessible gameplay would inspire other developers. The game could become a staple at arcades and home consoles, sparking discussions and fan communities. Its unique style would make it memorable, shaping the direction of future games. The cultural impact would be significant, cementing Plants vs. Zombies as a classic. And communities would form around Plants vs. Zombies, sharing tips, strategies, and fan art. Magazines and newsletters would feature guides and high scores while players gathered to discuss their favorite plants and zombies. The retro era's emphasis on community would make the game a social experience, with fans connecting through shared passion. This sense of belonging would add to the game's appeal, making it more than just a pastime. Merchandise would include plush toys, posters, and trading cards featuring the game's characters. Stores would sell themed items, making Plants vs. Zombies a pop culture phenomenon. The retro designs would appeal to collectors, while kids enjoy the playful products. Merchandise would help spread the game's popularity, making it a recognizable brand. The charm of the characters would translate well to physical goods, adding another layer to the game's legacy. Legacy of Plants vs. Zombies in 1992 would be lasting. It would inspire sequels, spin-offs, and imitators, shaping the future of strategy games. Its blend of humor and challenge would become a benchmark, influencing game design for years to come. The retro version would be fondly remembered, with fans revisiting it for nostalgia. Its impact would extend beyond gaming, becoming part of pop culture and inspiring creativity. Pairing the 1992 version to modern Plants vs. Zombies highlights the evolution of gaming. Today's graphics, sound, and mechanics are more advanced, but the core appeal remains. The retro version would offer simplicity and charm, while modern games provide depth and polish. Both versions share the same spirit, showing how timeless the concept is. This comparison underscores the enduring popularity of Plants vs. Zombies, regardless of era. But if Plants vs. Zombies had truly launched in 1992, the gaming world would be different, with the game influencing trends and inspiring new genres. Its retro charm would make it a favorite, while its innovative mechanics would push boundaries. The what-if scenario invites us to imagine a world where Plants vs. Zombies is a pioneer, shaping the industry and delighting players for decades. Conclusion: reimagining Plants vs. Zombies as a 1992 release offers a fascinating glimpse into gaming history. The retro aesthetics, simplified mechanics, and cultural impact would make it a classic, beloved by fans old and new. Its legacy would endure, inspiring creativity and shaping the industry. This journey reminds us of the power of imagination and the timeless appeal of great games. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic adventure.